going on, Ballers fans? Hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Welcome back to another episode of On the Ground Level. I'm your groundskeeper, Tim Siegel, and today we're going over the pitcher's mound. So grab your Cuban coffee, sit back, and enjoy. Yeah. Per baseball rulebook, the mound's supposed to be 10 inches above home plate, so we're going to go ahead and check our heights right now. We've got our string line run from the middle of the pitching rubber down to home plate, and we're just going to go ahead and walk down here, measure this out, make sure our specs are right. We've got our string run right up on the apex of the plate, which is the high point up here. We'll go ahead and measure, make sure our string's right at 10. We're right at 10, which is good. Now I've got two string levels here. I'm going to put the string level on the string line to make sure that we're level. We look pretty good on this end. Let's go ahead and check the pitcher's mound end now. Go ahead and place this end down here. And we're level, so it looks like we're about 10 inches above home plate, which is where we're supposed to be. Now we can go ahead and get started on our basic maintenance. Now that we've established we're 10 inches above home plate, we can worry about our slope. The slope is a downward rate of 1 inch per 6 feet. So I've got my slope gauge here. So there we're pretty good at 1. We're at 2, we're pretty decent. Come down to 3, we are a little high, so we need to drop. Same thing down at 4. 5 and 6. I like to be slightly higher than the inch by maybe a 16th, just to give it some room, a wiggle room to work with depending on weather and everything else that goes into preparing for a game. Now once we've determined our slope and we determine what we need to do to the mound, whether we need to raise it, lower it, or just patch it up, I always start off with the table. The table is a key factor here. This is how pitchers turn around and do pickoffs and have their flat surface before we slope down. And the key thing with your table and your slope is all this black stuff around here is called black stick. It is the special clay that is made for pitchers' mounds, batters' boxes, catchers' areas. This is how mounds and plates are built. This stuff has to stay at a moisture level. This way it all sticks together. So to start off with our table, I've got our table stencil here. We're going to be 18 inches off each side of the pitching rubber and then 6 inches in front. We're going to fill this in to give ourselves a nice, sharp, clean table. Pretty good there. We're good here. We're even out here. Check out the other side. And we're pretty good there. So now that we've established the table's in a good spot, we're going to kind of look over, see where we need to fill in, make sure we're kind of level. I'm going to start by actually tamping this out to fill in some of these holes that didn't get completely filled in from the last fix. And then I'm going to see where I need to go from there. So now that we're all tamped out, kind of filled in our holes, I can see certain areas that need to be filled in a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and take the level now. What I'm doing with the level is I'm putting it on the pitching rubber to make sure that we're level all the way around. We want to make sure we're even, there's no slopages. So I can see right here, I've got a gap down here near the pitching rubber. This is a common gap. So I'm going to go ahead and make some marks down here so I remember where I've got to fill in when I come back. A little low right there. That might be from tamping. Might have gone a little too hard there. Now here we're a little high. As you can see, we're not on the rubber. So we're actually high right here, which is going to be in this area. So I'm going to need to drop that down a little bit. But other than that, we're looking pretty decent. I'm going to go ahead and take the black stick. I'm going to smooth it over, give it a nice even coat. And then I'm going to tamp it back in and see where we're at. Now once you've tamped out your table area, I like to take the rake now, use the back side of the rake, and this is how I'm going to tell if we're level. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this towards me and make sure that we're pretty even. We look pretty good. We're a little low on the back side, but that's all right because that's where our slope starts. Make sure that we're good coming back this way now. So you just kind of want to make sure we're even, and we're pretty good all the way around here. We will take the roller at the end of this and go over it, so that'll help give it a more even finish. But I'm pretty happy with how even we are right here and how we're looking so far. So now I'm going to flip the rake around and I'm going to scratch. Now when you scratch, you're not trying to go deep, you're not trying to go crazy. All you're trying to do is take off that top layer that's not going to stick and stay. This way you have a good firm layer underneath. Another key factor to look at when you scrape too, you don't want to catch the rubber. So if your teeth are touching the pitching rubber, it should be touching the clay on the sides as well, which in this case we are, so we're looking pretty good. We're coming together on the table of our pitcher's mound. All right, now that we've established our table, if you're not too tired from that, it's time to go down onto our slope. So since we've established that our slope is a little high, we want to make sure we're kind of even with the table here. I'm going to go ahead and take this right here, which is our tiller. I'm going to turn this on and it's going to cycle. These blades are going to cycle through and it's going to tear up what's in there. It's going to take out all the bad clay that's out there, all the contaminated stuff that's not going to stick. And we're just going to kind of drop it down and try to get as even as we can coming all the way through. All right, now that we've tilled up our areas, we've scraped off all the excess. Now it's time to tamp all this out, close up some of these holes, and then go ahead and measure out and see how far off we are. Now that our arms are tired and our back is shot, we're pretty much done with the slope here as far as leveling it out, getting nice and even with it. We tilled it up, we scraped it. Now we're gonna go ahead and measure and see if we're right where we need to be with our slope. Come down to the first foot, pretty good there. Come down to the second foot, good there. Third foot, we're good. Fourth foot, we're good. Fifth foot, we're good. And the 6th foot, we're good. We're right on target right there. We're sitting pretty. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna clean everything up around here, get ourselves cleaned up. I don't need the wall anymore. I'm gonna grab another bag or two of black stick and I'm gonna put it down just to fill in these holes here, even it out. We're not gonna raise it up. We're not gonna drop it anymore, and just kind of fix the slope and make the mound look pretty and make sure we're ready for spring. So we tilled, we scraped, we filled, we tamped. We've done just about everything we can do up to this point. Slope is correct, everything looks pretty good on it. Now it's time to go get the big boy. All right, now that we just got done rolling, give it a little walk through, feel it, make sure you like it. Should have a little bit of stickiness to it, which is what I'm feeling, which is good. That means we've got some decent moisture going on in here. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna get some infield mix. I like to take our infield mix, which is what our mound is predominantly made of, and I like to put it over the top of the black stick. The reason I put it over the top of the black stick is it fills in some of the small holes that we might not have gotten and gives it that hard feel so it lasts longer. All right, now that we went ahead and rolled it, we went back, got our infield mix. So as you can see, it kind of filled in those, in between spots that we had. It kind of leveled it out for us a little bit. It's also a cheat way to make ourselves look a little bit better, but this is gonna create a great layer of protection. So we're gonna go ahead and roll this now. And after we roll it, I'm gonna go ahead and water it and we're gonna let it sit overnight. So we'll be back tomorrow to finish up. We'll take a look at this area and then we're gonna go ahead and spice it up, pristine it up, and then we're gonna put it to bed until April 8th. What's going on, Kannapolis? Welcome back. Yesterday we went over how to fix the main portions of our mound out here. We went ahead and let it sit overnight, let the moisture kind of soak in there a little bit, see what we were gonna come into today. We're looking pretty good, we're looking pretty smooth, pretty solid all the way around. But today we're just gonna go over the rest of the mound. We're gonna go over the sides, we're gonna tidy it up a little bit, kind of proportion it out, give it a nice, smooth, even finish, and go ahead and put her to rest for the rest of the winter. All right, now that she's rolled, she's nice and solid all the way around. She's pretty firm. I'm happy with it. Just a quick recap as to everything that we did going off these last day and a half. We went through, we tilled it, we checked our slopes out. We added some black stick into our main areas there, and then we threw down our infield mix over the top to give it a nice good protection layer. All right guys, that about wraps it up for another episode of On the Ground Level with your groundskeeper, Tim Siegel. This episode we worked on the mound, we came in, we fixed it, we leveled ourselves out, we're looking good. Again, I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope you guys have fantastic holidays this holiday season. Enjoy it with your family and stay tuned for another episode of On the Ground Level.